Hi, welcome to Chapter 3 of Effortless Success, the ebook. In this section, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the process and the idea of niche marketing. So we talked about permission marketing, but you also need to focus your permission marketing. And focusing is the idea of niche. And as I mentioned before, a niche is it's a small area or a small group. So the opposite of niche in business, the opposite of niche is mass. Okay, so we have two kinds of marketing here when you're talking about the audience, right? The people you want to reach, the people you want to communicate with. We have a mass audience, and then we have a niche audience, or niches. Usually we talk about niches. Usually you're trying to reach more than one. Okay, so mass means everybody. It means huge numbers of people. You just want everybody possible. So again, a lot of TV advertising is really mass marketing, right? You're trying to reach, you're trying to get the largest number of people to see your ad. That's mass marketing. It's the same. Billboards are really mass marketing, right? Just everybody who drives by or walks by sees the billboard. It's going for large numbers of people. But it's not focused, right? With the billboard, everybody walks by. You can't choose the kind of people who look at your billboard. Most of them probably don't care about your business at all. So that's mass marketing. Now, as an entrepreneur or a bootstrapper or a small business, you cannot afford to mass market. It's extremely expensive. And it's difficult to do it and get a good ROI, a good return on investment. Now, some very large companies, and even sometimes small companies, but not usually, they can do mass marketing and they can get a good ROI. They make a lot more than they spend on the advertising, but it's not easy. It's very, very difficult. And, large companies have huge departments that focus only on mass marketing. But in fact, a lot of large companies, a lot of really big corporations are more and more starting to do niche marketing. Usually in addition to mass marketing. So niche marketing is a much different way of thinking about advertising or marketing in general. So let's talk about niche marketing. What is a niche? A niche is a small area, or if we're talking about marketing, we usually mean it's a small group of people. Now, what kind of group? Well, it depends. It's a small group of similar people. Now, you can talk about different niches. So, for example, if we're talking about learning English again, we're talking about my business. One niche might be Japanese middle school students who want to improve their speaking and listening. Now, see, that's a very small group, right? Now, if I was trying to sell English lessons to Japan, mass market, I would just advertise on TV, right? And I would just try to reach everybody who wanted to learn English or who was a little bit interested in learning English. That's a huge, big mass market. But there's a lot of big companies that are trying to reach that market. So as a smaller business, especially as a bootstrapping business, even as a mid-sized business, a fairly big business, you usually want to go after more specialized groups. So middle school age children, okay, already that's a smaller group, much smaller group. We're not talking about older people. We're not talking about younger. We're just talking about middle school only. And then that want to learn only or improve only speaking and listening. So now we've made the group even smaller. right? Even more focused. So we have a smaller age group, and then we have only the ones who are focused on speaking and listening. If they want to learn writing, nope, we're not going to focus on them. If they want to focus on reading, nope, not going to focus on them. If they're interested in tests, nope, not going to focus on them. If they're in high school, no. If they're adults, no. So that's a niche. So it's a specialized group. It's a very specific, small group, a much smaller group in this big mass market. So a lot of people are afraid to do this. They think, well, God, why would I do that? I'm eliminating all this big mass market, right? A lot of people, when they start a business, they look at the whole huge market, and they think, if I only get 1% of this market, then I'll be super rich. They think 1% is actually easy to get. Well, it's not. Getting even a tiny percent of a mass market is very, 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 very difficult. Why? Because you're competing against huge, giant companies with a lot of money. And reaching a mass market is extremely expensive. Unfortunately, a lot of businesses that fail, they usually have two major mistakes. They're different kind of mistakes. One mistake is they don't market at all. They think they will open their business and people will just start coming by magic. Maybe a couple people come, but not enough. So if you don't market, that's a huge mistake. You got to reach people. You have to tell people about your business so they can find you. But another mistake is spending a lot of money on marketing and advertising and not getting a good ROI, not getting a return on the investment. In other words, spending more than you make from sales. And one of the major mistakes people make in that category is trying to mass market. So they buy a big advertisement in the newspaper, for example. That's a mass market. You're paying to reach a huge number of people, but in fact, only a very tiny number of those people will even look at your ad. Most of them don't care. So why should you pay to reach all those people who won't even look at it and who definitely don't care? You're wasting all that money. And often, when businesses do this, they lose a lot of money. They do this big expensive ad in a large newspaper, and they get very few sales, and they spend a lot of money. Sometimes they try it, the same thing with radio. Small businesses usually don't start with TV, but still, even in magazines, even in billboards, even in newspapers, you can waste a lot of money. Again, I'm a little biased. I think that the internet is an especially great place to do niche marketing because you can focus on specific keywords. So let's pretend I have some lessons and I want to focus on a small niche. Well, I can focus on, let's say, the middle school students in Japan who want to learn and improve their speaking and listening. Well, in Google, first of all, I can choose which countries to show ads, so I can choose only Japan. So now I've become more focused. And then in the keywords, I can use lots of keywords that something like, middle school English or English speaking for middle school. So I'll use the words middle school, English, speaking, listening, maybe learned, things like that. Those are the keywords that I'll use in my when I'm doing my advertising. So in other words, the idea is to focus, focus, focus. Instead of trying to be so with a really huge market, you want to focus in on a tiny little market. Not too tiny. If it's too tiny, you won't get any business. But a small market, a smaller market, and you want to be the best in that market. You want to serve that small market better than anyone else in the world. Now, actually, my real niche is not middle school students for Effortless English. It's actually adults. I focus on adult learners who are independent, who are focused on improving their English fluency, speaking and listening fluency, and who do not want to study grammar and who don't want to take tests. So I have by choice eliminated very huge markets because I know I cannot compete everywhere. I can't help everyone. I know my lessons are not good for everybody. People who want to really focus on writing, my lessons are not good for those people. So I don't want to sell my lessons to them. But my lessons are perfect for the group I just described. So you've got your business. What you need to do then, you've already thought about what problems you solve. And you're the best at solving those couple problems. Well, now you want to think about who do you solve those problems for? Right? Like as an English teacher, I could choose to solve English problems for children if I wanted to. I certainly could focus on children. I could focus on middle school students if I wanted to. I could focus on high school students. I could focus on adults. I could focus only on women. I could focus only on men. Now, I haven't chosen to do that, but I could. But that's how you need to think. That's how you need to think about this. Once you've got your product or service and you've got which problem you're solving, the benefit you're giving to people, you probably already have an idea in your mind which people will most benefit from your product or service. You probably have a general idea about this. You just need to make it more specific. Now, of course, other people might come in who don't fit your exact niche, but you need to focus your marketing, your image, your efforts on one or maybe a few different niches, really specific groups of people. You might choose certain ages, like I've chosen adults. I only teach English to adults. I do not teach children. Children are not my niche. You might choose a gender, so your business or service, you might want to focus on only women or only men, only boys or only girls. You might want to focus on only a very specific motivation or kind of problem. So, for example, I don't focus on writing, I only focus on speaking. And as you continue with your demo and you start improving your business or your product or your service, and people start coming to you, you start getting some customers, you'll actually start to get an even better feeling for what your niches are. But you need to have at least some idea in the beginning. What is your niche? What is your focus? And I guess the most important rule or lesson is do not try to please everyone. Serve your niche very well. Do not try to serve other niches. Don't worry about them. And in fact, if someone comes to you who does not fit your niche, and you know that really you're not the best for them, well, send them to somebody else. It's okay. In fact, they'll appreciate it, and they'll tell other people, oh, they're so nice, they actually sent me somewhere else. They wouldn't take my money. They said that someone else was better at what I wanted. I do that all the time. When people ask me, email me for writing advice, for example, I send them to the link or to the linguist. They do writing correction. I don't. They're very good at it. I like them. They're very nice people. They're excellent. So I don't want to take money from people who are interested in writing because my lessons don't focus on writing. It's not honest. It's not good. And, even if they bought my lessons, they would be unhappy and they would tell other people, oh, these suck. I wanted to learn writing and I didn't learn it. So don't try to serve everybody, every group, every niche. Focus on a few niches. Learn about them very well and focus your product and service on them. Make your product and service really appealing, really special to those people. That's niche marketing. And then, once you know who those people are and you focused your product or service on them, then focus your marketing, your advertising, just on those people. Now, you might be able to find a magazine that serves those people and advertise in that magazine. That's one way to do it. I think that, again, internet advertising is the best because you only pay when they click. So you're only paying when you know they at least were a little bit interested and they clicked and they went to see your page. So you know that they fit you a little bit at least. If you advertise in a magazine, you have no idea who's looking at your ad and who's not. You really have no idea. So, again, that's the benefit of internet marketing. You can run advertisements. You can choose keywords that focus only on the kinds of people you want. Another thing you can do, in Google, they have content ads. These are ads that show on other people's websites. And you can choose different age groups, genders, countries, locations, even cities, towns. So again, you can eliminate people who don't fit your niche so that you're very, very focused. All right, well, that's my very quick lesson on niche marketing. There's a lot of material. There are a lot of books about this topic. I can't explain all of it in just one chapter, but I've given you the basic idea. Do a search on Amazon.com for niche marketing. You might also do a search for niche marketing on Google, and you'll find a lot of books and a lot of information about this topic. And if you're serious, if you have a business, or if in your career you need to do some marketing, you need to do marketing for your company, you really should learn as much as you can about niche marketing. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.